Good morning, one and all. I thank hello. I thank our respected Principal Murli sir and Vice Principal Sundaram sir for giving me this opportunity to present hepatotoxicity, that is food hepatotoxicity and drug-induced hepatotoxicity. I want you to speak one name among drugs which prominently damages our liver, which is in practice till today. Clue is antipyretic drug. Antipyretic drug regularly we are using after vaccination also. Paracetamol. So it leads among the toxic drugs, hepatotoxic drugs. So liver does many functions. It secretes biles, it metabolizes, it synthesizes proteins and detoxifies. So this nature of detoxification makes it prone to damage by drugs. As we know, the person who works better and more is given more marks, given more work, still more work. He will be always in pressure. So this will be the condition of liver, the largest gland in our body. So we will be covering today food hepatotoxicity, then drug-induced hepatotoxicity. In drug-induced hepatotoxicity, we will be dealing types, drugs causing liver damage, mechanism, and forms or patterns. There is a manifestation of hepatotoxicity, the risk factors who are prone, signs and symptoms, diagnosis, treatment, and prognosis. Next. So hepatotoxicity is damage to the liver. This is caused by three sets of what we call category of things. The first one is food. Next. First one is food. Second, chemical toxins, that is industrial toxins like arsenic, calcium, carbon tetrachloride, vinyl chloride, then yellow phosphorus. So among these, carbon tetrachloride is mostly harmful. Then, third one is pharmacological agents, that is drugs. This is also called as drug-induced hepatotoxicity or briefly DILI, drug-induced liver injury. Next. So food. As we know, food gives us energy. Food helps us grow, takes up all the mechanism. It's helpful in synthesis of proteins, enzymes, so it's very helpful to humankind. But when we take in more quantity, then it would be harmful. And there are also certain foods which are harmful and cause hepatotoxicity. So here are some foods which cause hepatotoxicity. Sweetened drinks means consumption of more sweets and junk foods, that is deep fried foods. Then the beverages containing alcohols, kava. This is the drink prepared in a Pacific island for sedative and euphoric action. So this is piper. There is a drink prepared with piper. Then comes pesticides or food grains, whichever we consume after final products. these food grains are contaminated with pesticides, and these pesticides, when food grains come with pesticides to our home, and without proper cleaning when we consume, these causes hepatotoxicity. And aflatoxins, this is also similar. These are the toxins secreted by fungi, Aspergillus flavus. This also causes hepatotoxicity. Then mushrooms. We eat mushrooms. Okay, but there are certain kinds of mushrooms which are very poisonous, and one is amanita, that is hepatotoxic. And the other thing is we also take green tea. This is very famous. Someone, when we order tea, someone in a group of five orders green tea. So comfrey is the comfrey leaves are added to green tea, and this is hepatotoxic. And others are also toxic. Ackee fruit, camphor, hot chestnut leaf. Okay. So when we consume sweets or carbohydrates in more quantity, then those are deposited as fats in our liver. Then it converts the liver into fatty liver, then fibrosis, then leads to cirrhosis. And same mechanism is followed in when we eat more deep fried foods. Saturated fats are deposited in liver, thereby causing fatty liver, fibrosis, and cirrhosis. Then alcohol that is present in beverages when consumed for more time, for more length of time, the acetaldehyde, the major metabolite, is directly causes toxicity to the liver. This acetaldehyde is very important. This directly causes toxicity. Okay. So here we can see if we do not follow proper diet, then this is going to happen. Healthy liver will be converted into fatty liver, then fibrosis, then cirrhosis, liver failure. Next. So what we can do is only prevention here first. Prevention is what we can do? Limitation of consumption of carbohydrates and junk foods, avoiding deep fried foods, and those who take alcohol, they should moderate their consumption, that is, limit their consumption, so that they can reduce the toxicity. And washing the grains before cooked. This prevents toxicity by aflatoxins. So next is drug-induced hepatotoxicity. This is called, alternatively called daily drug-induced liver injury. Now, this can happen by drugs, when drugs are taken in overdoses, or when taken in therapeutic doses also. Accordingly, this is of two types, type A and type B. The first one is intrinsic or the pharmacological, and the second one is idiosyncratic. Now, first one contributes more, that is, it contributes 80% of the hepatotoxicity. This is dose dependent, intrinsic hepatotoxicity. So the best example is paracetamol. When taken in overdose, it causes intrinsic. Then, isoniazid, you might have heard, it's an anti-tuberculosis drug. This comes under idiosyncratic hepatotoxicity. This amounts to 20% of the drug hepatotoxicity. And this is dose independent. Even when given in therapeutic doses, drugs lead to hepatotoxicity. This may be allergic or non-allergic. We can see here the differences, intrinsic and idiosyncratic or idiosyncratic. Intrinsic is very common. This is dose dependent, short latency period will be there, and it causes acute liver failure. The example is acetaminophen. This causes intrinsic. Then idiosyncratic. This is less common, as we have seen 20% of the drug hepatotoxicity is caused by idiosyncratic. Now this is dose independent. As I said, in therapeutic doses also this is caused. This takes some weeks or months for the manifestation of symptoms. Then, in addition to liver failure symptoms or liver disease symptoms, in this idiosyncrasy occurs rash, fever, or eosinophilia. This is the differentiating feature. The example is isoniazid. So there are many drugs. About 70 to 80% of the drugs are hepatotoxic, both hepatotoxic and renal toxic. Renal nephrotoxic. Here we'll be dealing hepatotoxic one. So the most important drug or the most common drug which causes hepatotoxicity is acetaminophen. What we call is paracetamol. Then non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, aspirin, diclofenac, then piroxicam, ibuprofen, then glucocorticoids, antibiotics like amoxicillin, clavulanate, and rifampicin, isoniazid, which are used for tuberculosis, and phenytoin, which is an anti-epileptic drug. So, after a research which were found to be causing severe hepatotoxicity, they were withdrawn after some time. So these drugs are not available now. These are withdrawn from the market and are not readily available for use. So the drugs cause hepatotoxicity by this mechanism. They cause intracellular mitochondrial damage, cause stress, immune response, and thereby leads to apoptosis and necrosis. So this is the mechanism, how it causes hepatotoxicity. Next. So these are the forms. These are the very forms of manifestation. Zonal necrosis, death of certain zone of cells, a group of cells. Then hepatitis, swelling and inflammation. Then cholestasis, a reduced flow of bile. Steatosis, storage of fat. Granuloma, vascular lesions, neoplasm. So these are the damage, the conditions of the liver injuries. Next. 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 Everyone is prone to hepatotoxicity by drugs, but the older ones, female, those who have underlying liver diseases, and the ones who are alcoholic are more prone to this drug-induced hepatotoxicity. So the signs and symptoms are yellowing of skin, then eyes, dark urine color, fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting, weight loss. These are, as we see in intrinsic hepatotoxicity. In addition to these, we find rash, fever, and eosinophilia in idiosyncratic hepatotoxicity. And when the liver failure occurs, we find ascites, itching, then confusion, coma, hematemesis. These will be severe manifestations. Next. Diagnosis of drug-induced hepatotoxicity is not easy. It is very difficult. But there are some clues which help us to determine whether it is drug-induced toxicity or not. So circumstantial evidence is important. Then history taking, what drugs they use, what underlying causes they have, and blood tests help us. Among those bacteria for liver function tests, alanine aminotransferase, that is ALT, and alkaline phosphatase. These are very, very important in determining drug-induced hepatotoxicity and also whether it is which form of hepatotoxicity. Then others are hepatobiliary imaging, that is ultrasound, CT, MRI, then liver biopsy. So these are very much ALP, and the ratio in determining which form of drug toxicity is there. Next. So treatment. So generally, if you stop the suspected drug, the symptoms come to normal, the disease decrease. They need supportive treatment, and N-acetylcysteine is used for the treatment of acetaminophen, that is paracetamol toxicity, and then carbon tetrachloride. And if liver failure we find, then liver transplantation. Prognosis. If the serum bilirubin is raised more than 2 times in combination with alanine transaminase, ALT rise, this is highly threatening. This is a poor prognosis. There will be more mortality. 10 to 15% of the people will die. And if not stop drug. Though the drug-induced hepatotoxicity will be mild and it resumes to normal when the drug is stopped. But few people, rarely, severe hepatotoxicity is caused, leading to liver failure and thereby leading to mortality or death. So we must be very cautious. Early diagnosis and adequate initial management is very, very important in saving the lives of people with drug-induced hepatotoxicity. Thank you. Thank you very much.
काल चालू है वीडियो का बाजूला पूर्ण चालू आहे
Thank you so much.
चालू है फोन कर
So in this present modern world, we all know the role of the pharmacist in the health system. I have to say, pharmacists are ruling the medicinal world. Of course, it is exactly true because it is not possible for any physician to prepare his own medicines and dispense to the patient. Hence, pharmacists are shouldering the most critical responsibility and are coming up with various combinations which are beneficial to the man. Shadak pharmacy is one such well-known pharmacy for few decades. It has originated in 1947 and has successfully come up with various combinations which are safe, economical, and are bringing very good meaning and things to be hydrated factories. Respect the principles of vice principles, microbiology, and students. Today, on behalf of Sharak Pharmacy, I am here to just brush your knowledge about liver care. Next slide. So in our clinical practice, we see a wide range of liver diseases. But regularly attending the OPD, we see four of them are very common, like viral hepatitis, alcoholic liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and drug-induced liver disease. Of course, we see even genetic diseases, autoimmune diseases, cholestatic syndrome, and all. But the prevalence is less compared to the diseases which are mentioned in the top list. Next. So just we have a symptoms at a glance. So when the patient attends to your OPD, if he is having any of these symptoms, see, supposing a patient comes to you with nausea, just don't think that it is something related to GI. It is something related to nothing. No, we have to concentrate all the internal pathology, maybe